Welcome back to another My Hero Academia anime vs manga comparison video breaking down season 6 episode 5 titled The Thrill of Destruction, which happens to be the same title as chapter 273. We'll be going over all of the changes made from the manga to anime adaptation, and of course if you are new to the channel then be sure to subscribe with notifications on so that you don't miss a video, and if you want to further support the channel then please consider becoming a channel member by clicking the join button down below. To start things off, let's go over the police HQ and the massive changes shown when we see the heroes fighting the Nomu. Now, though Rocklock, Ryukyu, and Gran Torino were shown to be fighting a Nomu in the manga, it was actually women who they were fighting instead of this random big blue Nomu that we see in the anime. Even though I'm glad this moment sort of made its way into the anime, it is a little disappointing to see that later on Ryukyu has absolutely no involvement in the fight against women, including Kido and Onuma, who also take a back seat during the woman fight as well. Hell, even the heroes raiding into the lab is entirely removed. The scene showing the Wild Wild Pussycats heading to join the neutralization team is an addition that makes absolutely no sense when it comes to consistency, because that would mean that they would have also went down to Garaki's lab to join Endeavor in the gang, but somehow they magically end up in the city running away from Shigaraki's decay later in the episode, like how they did in the manga. Moving on, Xless saying he was going to destroy the machine made its way into the episode, along with the addition of him shooting his laser at it. After the opening, everything up until Endeavor vs. Woman is pretty much an anime only edition. It's pretty early in the video, but I have to give credit to Bones, and more specifically Norimitsu Suzuki, who worked on the extended scene of the Endeavor vs. Woman fight. The animation here was stellar to say the least. Not only that, but I really like how we just got to see Endeavor actually taking on Woman before the other heroes arrive to help. Plus, Mirko getting up and still trying to fight even though she is just out of it really shows that Mirko is no joke. Seeing Gran Torino kick a piece of Woman's head off was a dope addition as well. Overall, the extension of this fight was an amazing addition to a fight that was only about one panel and one page long. The only thing I found really disappointing when the heroes showed up was that we don't get to see the other heroes fight the other high-ends like in the manga. It just cuts to them having already taken down the Nomu. To me, this was an addition to the anime that didn't even need to be there, because we see them fighting the high-ends again right before Shigaraki destroys everything. So this edition kind of made the other high-ends feel weak in comparison. For another anime-only edition, we get to see Shigaraki straight up decay Xless. This has to be such a horrible way to go out. Regardless, F's in the chat for Xless. Switching over to Tokoyami, Hawks, and Dabi, after Dabi shows and tells Tokoyami that Hawks had killed twice who was trying to flee, the anime replaces the shot of the fight going on down below with a shot showing them on the balcony with Mount Lady breaking through the building in the background. It was a very creative way to show that the action was still going on without breaking the tension of the scene. After Hawks gets knocked out from the fall, the anime adds in an extra scene of Mount Lady making her way to block the underground passageway. When Mount Lady throws it back, gets thrown back by Geten's ice, the anime removes some of her dialogue where she says ice, as well as the panel showing some heroes getting tossed up by the ice. Switching over to Makia standing up and being able to smell Shigaraki, the anime gives us a new shot of Shigaraki standing, wrapped up in Xless's cape. Switching over to Team Endeavor's rear guard, we finally are reunited with Deku and the gang. For some detail removed, when Burnin is telling everyone that they will have people wait at a shelter outside of the city, we don't get to see Bakugo all frustrated from the side. For some anime-only additions, before Deku hears the voice of the first user of One For All, he is given a small line of dialogue that gets interrupted by the first. Bakugo also gets an added line of dialogue as well. The anime also doesn't adapt most of the last page from chapter 270 that showed more shots of what was happening around Deku, with Todoroki and the others helping the citizens when the first spoke to him. When Deku stares at the hospital in fear, we get new shots of Shigaraki's reflection from the water, Mirko struggling on the ground, Aizawa, Present Mike, and Garaki, and another shot of Deku in fear. This was honestly a phenomenal scene with the way the anime was building up to Shigaraki's decay, the ominous music, and the added shot of the crosswalk going red right before the decay happens gave me absolute chills. Continuing on, right when Shigaraki begins to decay everything, the panel showing Garaki looking up before the decay is shown, and just how close the decay was from touching Garaki's feet didn't get adapted, but we did get an added scene of Aizawa Aizawa yelling out to President Mike in silence. And when you think about it, Aizawa right here probably thought his best friend was going to die. So this definitely was a welcome addition to the anime, as it did hit me in the feels a little bit. Shigaraki being shown floating in the pink liquid is another anime only addition. When Aizawa gets his leg grabbed by Ribby, the anime adds in Aizawa's scarf tearing apart, which I know this was done to make the scene even more intense given everyone is running away trying not to get decayed, but it kind of breaks everything we know about Aizawa's binding cloth. Like, you're going to tell me this thing that's made from carbon fibers and a special metal alloy can tie up, hold, and throw powerful opponents across the screen, but tears when dragging a little extra weight? For me, it would have been a little bit more believable if a pebble of decay ended up touching a piece of the binding cloth and was the cause of it tearing, but that wasn't the case. Besides that, of course, we have to talk about Crust's death. Even though Crust wasn't in the series for that long, he went out like a straight boss, saving Aizawa from suffering the same fate he did. What makes his death even sadder was the fact that despite him seeing Aizawa calling out for him, he just smiles and gives him a thumbs up, letting Aizawa know that it's okay. This to me has to be one of the saddest deaths in the series, and I really wish we got to see more and learn more of Crust, given that he really seemed like a cool character that was taken away way too soon. Rest in peace, Crust. You will be missed. Moving on, for some detail removed, Ryukyu is no longer holding one of the heroes in her mouth. During Shigaraki's beautiful display of destruction to the city, the panels showing Wash and the others being evacuated doesn't get adapted. The anime also adds in Pixie Bob looking shook when she realizes her quirk did absolutely nothing to stop the decay. The heroes making it out alive, an extension of Shigaraki's decay, an overview shot of how much of the city Shigaraki destroyed, and Ida, Nejiri, Shoto, and Ochako get some added dialogue. For a little detail removed, the one for all spark in Deku's eye is removed when Deku realizes that Shigaraki is the one destroying everything. Shoto gets an added scene of him grabbing someone and running away from the decay, as well as Ochako making a bus float. The panels showing Ida and Koda running from the decay wasn't adapted in the episode either. And for the final change in the episode, the police HQ make another appearance as they lose feed and communication on what is going on at Jakku Hospital. The episode ends with Shigaraki hearing the voice of All for One and telling Makia to come bring the other members of the League so that they can destroy everything. Now, episode 118 adapts about 2.5 chapters, them being chapters 271, 272, and half of chapter 273. For the most part, this episode was incredible. There were a few things that didn't make sense to me, but other than that, everything from the animation, voice acting, and the OST were absolutely incredible. And it just has me even more pumped for the future episodes to come. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts on the changes made in episode 118. Did Shigaraki's destruction meet your expectations? Let me know everything in the comment section below. With that said, thank you for watching another My Hero Academia anime versus manga comparison video. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to Detroit smash that like button below, and don't forget to share this video with your friends. If you are new to the channel and you want to see more My Hero Academia content, then be sure to subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on to join the Kitoroki Hero Academia to become my hero. Doing all of this really does help the channel out a ton, and it's always appreciated. Remember to stay plus ultra, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.